if you could go into your fantasy draft with the exact same tools that all the fantasy experts use in order to win their leagues? Well, guess what? My name is Justin with J Hen Fantasy, and I'm inviting you to Fantasy Football Training Camp, a live virtual 2-day event where you have the opportunity to learn from analysts, former NFL players, betting experts, and a whole lot more. This is your chance to get real analysis and expertise live through panels, participate in mock drafts, and a whole bunch of other goodies. Make sure to get your ticket in the description below and join us at Fantasy Football Training Camp this August 2nd and 3rd. We'll see you there. Yo, what up? Your boy Justin Henry here. Today, we're going to be doing Mock Draft Monday, baby. Mock Draft Monday. Shout out to everybody who got to the chat early. Gabe, what's popping, bro? What's popping? Before we get into the mock draft, make sure y'all hit the like button, show some love to the page. Man, if you're here for the first time, don't make it the last time. Sub to the page, baby. Joshua was popping. Sonny G was popping. Adam was good. No start bench cut today. Austin was popping. Q was popping. Listen, we had a major trade, I would say. Pretty major trade today before we get into the mock draft. We had a pretty major trade in the NFL today. Jonnu Smith, Jalen Ramsey headed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That means Mika Fitzpatrick headed over to the Miami Dolphins. So for the Dolphins, obviously get an upgrade on the defensive side of the football. But then for the Steelers, you get a little bit of combination. You get a little bit of a bolster in the offensive side, and then maybe a slight, I would say almost like a pretty lateral move defensively, maybe a slight bump down. But for the most part, gives the Steelers a little bit extra. So I'm going to go over the impact today of what that looks like. But it is kind of interesting to see this thing happen, man, right here before training camp next month. So a good deal, I think, for both sides. A good deal for both sides, but for me, at the end of the day, I think this is I would say this. If you're worried about, like, both sides of it, here's how I play it. Jonnu. I think Jonnu goes from, like, potentially ADP-wise as a top 8 to 10 tight end. I think he bumps down to outside of the top 12. Outside of the top 12. And I think this is just going to be a Arthur Smith thing. We know Arthur Smith is not a high-profile offense. Like, you go from Miami to the Steelers, right? So I think for Jonnu, this is not a good look for those who wanted that top 5 finish that he had last year. I think you're going to see a bump down, but we could get some value. It all depends on how Arthur Smith decides to use him, right? So if Arthur Smith decides, hey, I want to use him as our, another receiver, which the Steelers don't have a ton of receivers, we might get some value out of Jonnu Smith, all right? As far as Pat Freiermuth comes down a little bit. He's going to come down a little bit. If you had him in that 15 to 20 range, he's outside the top 20. For DK Metcalf, things are still the same. And then we go to the Miami side. Bump up for Tyreek Hill if you had him outside of your top 10. Bump up for Jalen Waddle if you had him outside of your top 25. So I think Tyreek is going to firmly be inside the top 10 once draft season starts. And I think Jalen Waddle for sure is going to be inside the top 25 as a secondary pass catcher now. Also, slight bump up for those who like Devon Achane, like myself. For those who like Devon Achane, bump up. Like, they're going to be using him out the slot. And I think the backup running backs might play a little bit more prominent role than we're thinking. So I think overall, for the stud players in these offenses, it's a slight bump up or even. I don't think anybody really takes a hit outside of Pat Freiermuth, obviously. And I don't think it's even that big of a hit. He was a 506 touchdown guy anyway. It wasn't anything crazy. So, all right, for those who want to join the mock draft, I'm about to put the link into the chat in just a second. All right. What settings do you guys want to draft at today? I was planning on doing a 12 team to start off. What settings do you want to draft at today? That would be helpful for me in the chat. All right? Helpful for me in the chat. Kyrie, what's good, Brody? What's good? We're going to be drafting probably in about the next 2-3 minutes here. How you living, dog? Texas T, what's good? What's good? Let's get it. Is Tyler and Pete coming on today? Tell Ty to answer my DMs. Oh, Tyler hiding, huh? I think Tyler said he's going to come on in just a second. Would you draft Monty and Gibbs together? Would you draft Monty and Gibbs together? I would try not to, unfortunately. But it doesn't hurt you. Like, I just don't like play. You got to take whatchamacallit kind of early. So you got to take Monty kind of early to take him and Gibbs. But I feel like you can get another standalone RB2 and do better off and be better off. Gabe, you asked me if Tyler and P are coming on today. I don't know about P, but I may have the answer to your other question. May have the answer to your other question here. Tyler, what's good?
Yo, what's up?
Man, I caught you drinking water. My bad, bro. Everything is good. You know what I'm
Oh, it's
saying?
fine.
A little interesting news today, bro. Before we get into the mock draft, I'm gonna send you a link right now. Before we get into the mock, but a little interesting news today. I want your opinion on it. I just dropped my thoughts on Jonnu Smith. I said obviously a slight bump down, but I didn't really have him that high anyway. And then as far as like the pass catchers for Miami, I said I think ADP is going to go up for Tyreek and for Jalen Waddle, but I kind of already had Tyreek there at least. I said Tyreek's inside the top 10, Jalen Waddle's inside the top 25. Where are you at on this Jonnu Smith trade?
Yeah, I think for Jonnu Smith, I think this like completely nukes Jonnu Smith. Like I didn't want anything to do with him anyways. Personally, like I thought he was going too high. But now like I would want nothing to do with him. I don't think we talked about this last time. I believe it was his first season ever inside the top 15 at the tight end position. So like I just don't see any value here. He'll fall down a little bit, but that's I would just avoid him. And then I do like I think this gives a big boost to potentially Jalen Waddle if he can rebound this season. And then another thing is because they were doing a lot of manufactured touches to Jonnu Smith last year, and I don't know like why that was happening. Maybe it was because Tyreek Hill was banged up, Jalen Waddle was hurt a little bit, but there was a lot of manufactured touches to Jonnu Smith. So maybe this year it kind of goes to Waddle a little bit now. But I also do think this kind of like takes Devon Achane to the moon. Like I really do think
See?
Achane could potentially, if he can stay healthy along with Tua, I do think there is a chance that he could be the RB1 in fantasy football. I think like in full point PPR formats, he could go nuclear this year. So he's
I'm
somebody
hoping
that
I'm
intriguing.
hoping I'm hoping that ADP doesn't start climbing too high, bro. Because I
It
was
probably
all over
will. It
Achane.
probably
Yeah,
will with all three of them, honestly.
yeah. I
With
got a lot of
Tyreek, even Jalen
Achane.
Waddle.
We was doing those best ball. I started doing a lot more best ball drafts after we did, and I got so much Devon Achane and Tyreek Hill. It's insane. I was getting so much of them, bro. But we are gonna mock draft, and so right now I'm gonna Ty already send you the link.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna send you the link. We're gonna do a 12 team. Let's see. So some of the settings that you guys want, we're gonna have to do an auction draft next week. When we can do the auction draft for the entire show because that's a whole show thing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll definitely do PPR. See a lot of PPR in here. 12 team, 2 running back, 3 receiver, 3 receiver, 3 receiver. I see a couple half point PPR in here. We'll do a
This is
10
on
team.
super flex. Are we doing super flex?
I haven't seen anybody want super flex.
Because
Which super flex?
the settings are on super flex right now.
Oh yeah, I'll take that off. I'll take it off. Let's not do super flex. I see a couple 2 receivers. So let's do this. We'll do a 10 team after this one. For this first one, be 12 team, and we will do non super flex. All right, 10 team, non super, or 12 team, no super flex. Sound good, everybody? All right, I'm gonna drop it in the chat real quick. And let's take one of these bench spots off. We'll do 3 bench spots today. Update. Links up. Links up. Links up.
What did you think about the trade overall?
I thought it was a good trade for both sides. It was one of those deals where I think it worked out for both. Maybe a slight dip on the defensive side for the Steelers. You know, you obviously Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey, who's still good. I just don't think he is what he used to be. And then I thought offensively, you just get another weapon, another big body, so you're not having to like panic at receiver and make Calvin Austin your number 2 and wait for Van Jefferson or Roman Wilson to be your guy. It's like you get an impact receiver / tight end if Darnell Washington hasn't done what you thought he was going to do, right? And then as far as the Miami side goes, I think Miami offensively kind of stays the same. They probably go back a little bit to what was working for them 2 years ago, but I mean, it all comes down to Tua's health anyway. So
I think it's
even deal.
I like it. I do think that the reason why I like it is because the cap hit's really low for Jalen. I feel like they're gonna do something. They're probably gonna extend TJ Watt. I think that's why they did it because they needed the extra cap room to do it. And Jalen Ramsey is coming off that extension, but it was like I want to say it was a lot guaranteed. So they're eating that. Or at least I haven't seen anything on Steelers taking on any of that.
me change this up. So we are going PPR. All right. So we're ready to get this draft started. PPR draft. We in the game. I'm going for the 5 spot. Tyler, it looks like you want from the 9 spot, huh?
Yeah. I just random spot, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this thing going, man. No, I think you're right on the cap side. Hopefully, because I know they said they wanted to be a Steeler for life. So hopefully Steelers get that done. Because otherwise, I don't know. I feel like defensively, though, it wasn't too much of a drop off, even though I know Fitzpatrick's better. It doesn't seem like too much of a drop off.
No, and honestly, I know like Minka hasn't, I don't want to say he hasn't done a lot, but he hasn't been as impactful these past 2 seasons as he was prior. Like he only has 1 interception over the past 2 years. So I don't know if there's been like a switch in how they're doing things different, like with it, but I don't know. But also they have Slay, so it'll be interesting to see if one of them now becomes kind of like a slot corner. Or they do. I don't know what they're going to do. But hey, I think Jalen Ramsey is still a good football player.
Me too.
I think it's really good, one of the best cornerback rooms in the NFL now with Joey Porter Jr., him and Slay. So
probably be able to move him around a little bit, have him guard some bigger like tight ends and stuff too. Like I think it's a good move, especially they need him. Like and you play Baltimore and they got like Likely and D-Hop and Mark Andrews. Like he can match up a little bit with some of those guys. You don't always got to put him on. And then like Cincinnati, it's like Cincinnati got firepower for days. He can guard Gesicki. Like I just think it gives them a little bit more where some of those AFC North teams have like receivers at the tight end position. David Njoku, like same thing. So
I think it gives them a better chance of do I think the Steelers are going to win it? Absolutely not.
No.
But they're just pushing all their chips because hey.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat today. You got a Superflex video already? Yeah, we've done a couple Superflex mocks. I don't know if we can get one today. Maybe. For sure, we'll do a 10-team. I got a request for a 10-team half-point PPR, so we can do that after this one. How do y'all join the mock this quick? Listen, it's June, and we already getting like filled up drafts, so make sure you guys get here early. I don't know if anybody has a bot, but like also share the wealth too. Like if you get in one mock draft, maybe, you know what I'm saying, leave it open for somebody else to get in the next one.
I try to tell my followers that, but they don't
be listening. They trying to be part of it.
They want to, which, hey.
I'm not mad.
And when it's hard of the draft season, I'll do like 2 mocks at the same time. That way more people. And I tell them, hey, if you're in one, then just don't join this other one. Like
I don't know how you do 2 at the same time, bro. That's crazy. You keep a longer clock?
No.
You do 30-second clock still?
Yeah.
How many times you auto draft on that thing? You probably auto draft all the time on there.
No, I honestly with mocks I'm pretty locked in. Like I've done so many drafts already that I just already I know like what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I think I get a lot of it's too early, right? For mock drafts, I get a lot of like, why are you drafting so early? But I think this is how you sharpen your saw. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I feel like when you're able to go through the mock drafts, even right now, you can kind of establish like trends in ADP and trends and who people like, and then even how your team looks after you go a certain way. So I think for me, one thing I've been trying to do is lock in like one running back early on, but I'm finding that a lot of the receivers I like are slipping. Like if I'm in the middle of the first round, I find like, Drake London's there sometimes. AJ Brown's there for me sometimes. The back end of the first, I see a lot of like Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. I like those players. And so it's been kind of tough for me, especially if I go receiver early, to lock in another running back. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that part out too, because I get asked that a lot. Like, hey, when should I take a running back? Or like, when do you go running back? So I think this year's been I'm still kind of playing that game of like fine tuning receiver early or make sure I get a running back.
I'd like to have ideally one running back early, because I think that there's like the top 12 backs, I would say like top 13. I feel really, really good about, and then it's not even that after that I don't feel good about the guys, but it's just I don't like them as much as like the top 13, like 12 guys. You took James Cook.
I don't know why I did that. That was a panic. I'm not gonna lie, that was a straight up panic pick. Like I was going through it, I was looking at the receivers, And I have this, I'll be honest with you, after Marv goes, there's this cluster of receivers that I don't really know how to gauge. Like T. Higgins, obviously the upside's there, but he doesn't stay healthy. Mike Evans, probably a floor player at this point of a time instead of a ceiling play. Devontae Adams, the secondary receiver. DJ Moore, we don't know what his role is going to look like in this new offense. And DK Metcalf's ceiling's probably a little bit capped. Obviously the touchdowns can be there, but I don't think he could be a top 10 guy. He's probably more of a top 15 guy. The only other person I was thinking about was Brock Bowers at that time. It was taking a tight end, but and then I looked at the running backs. So I was like, I could have went Kamara, but it was a little early. That's all. So
no, I mean I would have went with Brock.
Yeah, I'm not mad at
Chase
that.
Brown.
I'm not mad. If I would have went Brock there, I wouldn't have been mad. I just don't like taking tight end early this year.
Yeah, I think that those guys in the third round though is different than like the second round.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You're probably right. If looking back at it, I think that was probably a little bit of my like hesitation, but it got down to 3 seconds and I'm like, man, let me just pick.
And so you just took the worst one that you could.
I did, bro. I did. I don't take a lot of James Cook, but I mean, he had 16 touchdowns.
I think James Cook is fine.
He's one of those players. If we're wrong about him, he's going to be incredible value again.
No, I like James Cook for where, like, I would take, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Chase Brown, like those three guys definitely over James Cook. And then I think it's like James Cook range. He's definitely in there.
Yeah. Any ESPN mocks today? Do you guys want to do the 10-team draft on ESPN? We can do that because I think they're set up for half point. I want to say they're set up for half point. But Justin, can you cover where you think Braun is going to go in any recent NBA moves? I'll go over that quickly here. I think Braun's probably going to stay, but it is interesting to see him take that last year instead of normally where he takes a second year in that deal. I think for Dallas to try to get him, I don't see the Lakers giving Dallas giving the Lakers enough to move LeBron to where it's worth it outside of like Kyrie, AD. Like there's a lot that would have to go right for that to happen, in my opinion. And then as far as, oh my God, I'll never take quarterback this early. And I'm not starting today. And then as far as like New York, I think New York could get him. I just don't see it happening with New York. The team Cleveland obviously seems about right. Like when you can get Garland, maybe Jared Allen, another shooter, and then some picks. When you put that alongside, Luka and Austin Reeves. But I don't know. I kind of think Braun just stays in LA personally. And then any recent NBA moves. What happened today? Recent KD to the Rockets. Well, let me talk NBA after. Kay, don't let me forget to talk NBA after we do this mock. That way I got a little bit more time. We're not in the draft. Got to keep the flow going. Who is the starting tight end for Miami? Damn, that's a good question.
I know it's really bad.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I don't know
who it is.
I don't
know if it's like Smythe.
It might be Smythe. They didn't draft anybody, did they?
What's that?
Did they draft somebody?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't remember their draft, honestly.
Julian Hill.
Is that who they have? Julian Hill. No, Smythe's not even there anymore.
I don't know.
Pharaoh Brown.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could make that up, but I don't even know who Julian Hill is, bro.
They said that they are in the market for trying to get somebody.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can see like the Chargers have like 4 tight ends. You got Disley. I think they signed Conklin, and then Aronde Gatson. They drafted him as well, and they really like him.
They didn't like try to get, I don't know, Freiermuth or
Freiermuth or Washington.
Darnell Washington. Like maybe try to.
They must have something else in the works.
Not trying to.
They gotta have something else in the works. I feel like you have to have something else in the work if you do that. Okay. Gone a little too far on the quarterback hate, bro. A little too far on the quarterback hate. First mock with you, J-Han, been trying to get in for time. Good, man. Good. As we go through the offseason too, it's probably going to be harder to get into mock drafts. What I'm going to try to do is if you guys post mock drafts in the Discord, I'm going to try to just hop in there when I got some free time, even if I'm not on live. So that way everybody has a chance, to get in a couple mocks If you're watching right now and you have not got your ticket to fantasy football training camp, get a free ticket on me. Just go to the website, fftcamp.com, and click. There's a free ticket waiting for you to the first 1,000 people. So if you're watching this stream, even afterward, the first 1,000 people get a ticket to FFT camp for free. We are going to have some amazing guests there. Dante Culpepper is lined up to speak at the event. We also have some pretty big names in the fantasy space. Myself, Tyler, expected to be there in attendance if all goes according to plan. Some other big names here in this space, some of the big fantasy guys that you've gotten to know and love. Laquan Jones from NFL Network is going to be there. We got Brad Evans from Yahoo, or used to be with Yahoo, will be on there. A lot. There's a lot coming your guys' way. So if you have not got a ticket to that, it's going to be the biggest event in fantasy football. Trust me, it's going to be the biggest event. And if things work out, there may even be a more special guest than that. So stay tuned. There might be a very special guest. I don't want to drop too many hints on that. I can't drop too many hints on that one, Tyler, because if it pops, it pops. If it happens, it's gonna break fantasy football, this industry, man. But does everyone join in the first 5 seconds? I don't know how everybody gets in the mocks. You got to be quick though. Got to be quick. Hey, Father Jahan, do you think McCarthy will be decent to draft Jettis as a first-round pick? I had this question posed to me, Tyler, and I want you to answer this. I love Justin Jefferson. I took him. I think he's going to be fine. But I want you to answer this because I had this question posed to me on a TikTok live, and it was, I took Justin Jefferson at the 101, took him over everything. Like, what's the difference between, obviously I know you love Chase, so your answer is going to be a little skewed, but what's the difference between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in your opinion?
Between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, just that playing with the lead quarterback, I would say that's a big difference. I do like, and I've talked about this before. Like, I don't want to say that I was out on Justin Jefferson last year. It's just where he was going. I wasn't a big fan of. Like, I wanted CD definitely, like Jamar Chase over him easily. There were other guys I was taking over him, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And like Justin Jefferson still put up a good season, obviously. Was wide receiver 2 or 3 or something like that. But it, like, and I say this a lot, he did put up his lowest points per game total since his rookie season. The reason being is Sam Darnold, it's not a pumpkin, but you went on auto draft. He's not as good as Kirk Cousins when before the Achilles tear. Kirk Cousins was pretty good. I do think that there's a chance JJ McCarthy could be bad. I'm not saying that like that's likely, but there's a wide range of outcomes, and if he is bad, it's definitely going to hurt Jay Jettis. But Jay Jettis, showed it even with a not great quarterback who still had a good season. Can still put up good numbers.
That's what I told him. I said that what you're betting on is that JJ McCarthy is good. Like, you have to bet on that with Justin Jefferson. And I don't mind the bet because if he pans out, you're like, okay,
take him at the 101.
Yeah, but taking him at the 101, exactly. There's so much more security with Barkley, with Robinson. But the only thing is, if you want Justin Jefferson, you have to take him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just think with CeeDee Lamb, better quarterback play. Even like St. Brown, there's better quarterback play. I mean, shit, even you're getting like that Brian Thomas range where it's like the quarterback play doesn't outweigh the receiver talent because we know how talented Justin Jefferson is. So I think you get a nice floor this year with Justin Jefferson, somewhere around 1,500 yards. I think we might be missing the ceiling unless JJ McCarthy is just way better than we expect.
No, absolutely. I think that where you got him is where he should be going, personally. That's where I think Jay Jettis, because he offers, like you said, a safe floor. We know how good he is. The one thing that I'll say is, and I'm not saying like JJ McCarthy is going to be horrendous, just like Browning, the backup for the Bengals. Jamar Chase, we saw last year, wide receiver 1, but one Burrow got hurt. He was, I want to say, wide receiver 10, 12 on the season that year because quarterback play. So I'm not saying that JJ McCarthy is going to be that bad, but there is a chance he could be pretty shit. But he could be good. He could be really good.
Could be.
Then you're looking at Jay Jettis as a wide. That's the difference between those other guys. Like, I'd still even take Gibbs because I do think Gibbs could be the RB1. Obviously, Jamar Chase can be or Justin Jefferson can be. I just need to make sure JJ is good.
Yeah. You got to have. I think for sure you need to make sure JJ's like you just. I think with the top 6 picks, top 4 specifically, you just have a little bit of time. You don't really need to make that move. Like you can wait next year and get Jettas. Like I don't think the upside for me isn't 2,000 yards like it is with Chase.
Yeah.
It's not 130 catches like it is with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
It's not 2,000 total yards like it is with Barkley and Robinson. So
yeah. No, I agree.
You still high on Mixon. I don't know how to feel about him there, but I still grabbed him. Where'd you get Mixon at? You got Mixon third round. Oh, no, that's perfect. End of the 3rd round. I think that's great value for a guy that was averaging, I think he was the RB2 all the way up until week 14. So on per game average. So I think Joe Mixon is going to be incredible. Even with Nick Chubb there, I'm not really worried about Nick Chubb. So yes, I'm still high on Mixon. Don't judge me for my James Cook pick, all right? Don't judge me for the pick, bro. Don't judge it. Another sleeper mock today. Yes, we will do another sleeper today. Hey, Jayhan and Ty, general question for y'all. Who in the league is the best at throwing with anticipation? Are there any young QBs you think do that really well? Well, for me, I think Tua is one of the best anticipation throwers, throwing in space. Brock Purdy is pretty good at throwing into space as well. And it depends. I think the thing is, it's normally those are system guys, right? Like guys that throw to spots instead of throwing to their receivers. So I think all quarterbacks could probably do that, but I think like Tua, I think when I think of great quarterbacks that do that, it's like Tua. I think Brock Purdy does that really well.
I don't know about young. Well, I guess those are those young guys then.
Yeah, I know. Are they still considered young guys, right?
I mean, I think that CJ Stroud, like when he has a clean pocket. And I know, obviously people are disappointed after last year, but things kind of fell apart around him. Not so much his fault. I don't think he was great, but
we think about CJ Stroud because the one thing about the Texans is that the offensive line is still still bad.
Rough. Yeah.
So if the offensive line is still bad, and I mean I know they got a whole bunch of receivers now, but you also get the ground. They like to run the football. D'Amico Ryans likes to run the football. I'm kind of concerned that CJ Stroud is going to be in this place where like he had an insane rookie year, but then like he's going to kind of fizzle out into like this mid-tier, like almost a little harsh, but like a watered down version of Dak.
No, I mean he definitely could be because I did a bunch of best ball drafts over at Underdog today for Superflex, and it's pretty crazy to see CJ Stroud. He goes down near like every single time. He was down there with like Bryce Young, Matthew Stafford, Michael Penix, all those kind of guys. And it's pretty crazy because just last year he was being drafted. Wasn't he like in the 4th or 5th round of drafts last year?
Yeah, I mean, but we do that all the time, though. We do that all the time.
So for me personally, I don't mind him down there because, like, if it's a super flex, like in a 1 quarterback league, I wouldn't worry about taking CJ Stroud whatsoever. He'll probably be on the waivers unless he has a blow up few games. People will jump back on. But like super flex, if I can get him as my quarterback 2 and I have a really good quarterback 1, I mean, I don't mind that. I don't think he's going to have a great season. Because like you said, the offensive line, but hey, like maybe the offensive line doesn't end up being as bad as people anticipate. And CJ Stroud, we did see flashes, high-end traits. Like maybe he is able to overcome that and his weapons stay healthy. Nico stays healthy and kind of bounce back. But I do worry. And I think he's going kind of where he should right now in drafts.
Yeah, I think CJ Stroud's an interesting case because it would shock me a lot if he finishes like a top 5 to 7 quarterback, but I don't think it would shock me if he finished like top 12.
Yeah, if he's like towards quarterback 12, 13, 14, a high-end QB2, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at that. But that's not somebody I would want for, once again, 1 quarterback leagues. More of like a quarterback 2 and a super flex.
Yeah. Jahan sniping me on JMO and Rome now. So it's funny because like I'm looking at my team right now, and I don't really like it, but it has players that I like though. Like I don't know, it's kind of weird.
I
How you
don't
feel
mind
about
my
your
team
squad
right
right now?
now.
No.
What's that?
How you feel about your team?
I don't mind it. Like I mean, I know I don't have a great RB2, but like I love like a lot of the other players that I have, and I kind of like after this trade, I kind of like Caleb Johnson a little bit more now, and the reason being is I just think that move leads to this team being such a smash mouth. Like we already knew they were, but now having like those tight ends.
Yeah.
Like they're going to line up in 12 personnel. Like they could even have my kids are yelling. They could even have like one wide receiver on the field and then it's 3 tight ends. And I don't know. I just think that Caleb Johnson has a specific role in this offense, and that's going to be running the football.
It'll be
And
Najee.
yeah, but he could be better than Najee because
Or
Najee
it
is
could be the
also
same, or it could be worse too.
I also
He's a
like this
third round
offense
pick.
better. Personally, I like this offense better with Aaron Rodgers under center than like what they had last year. Like I think it'll lead to more scoring opportunities than what it
Is
did
Aaron
last
Rodgers that much better than Russell Wilson at this point in his
year.
career?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
yeah.
it'll look a little different. I
Russell
think
Wilson is
Russell Wilson's
ass.
decent. Russell Wilson's decent.
Ass.
I think they're
No,
both
he's
similar
decent.
quarterbacks. Yeah, they're both like
He's
3,500
decent.
yard
I
quarterbacks.
think that Aaron Rodgers is better than Russell Wilson.
Slightly. I'll give him slightly. But I think this offense, when you talk about like John coming in, I think their plan has always been smash mouth, but I don't think this offense changes a whole lot. Like you go get a bigger body in DK. You're right. You know what? Maybe you might be right because you get a bigger body in DK, who's a good run blocker. You get John who can block now, and you can use him at different spots. You could use him in line. You got Pat Frymuth. You got Darnell Washington, who's like big ass blocker. So maybe you're right on that. Actually, maybe you're right.
And I mean, they got last year they had Fontana who was hurt, so he'll be back. I think the offensive line, like this offensive line could be very, very good this year. This could be a group that they've been throwing a lot of pieces at it for years now, and they had McCormick and the center there, Frazier, that were rookies last year that played really well. Fontana was hurt last year, the rookie. Broderick Jones, I mean, they have high hopes for him, but like there's a lot of pieces here that they've thrown a lot of draft pieces over the past few years now where maybe it just doesn't come to fruition. But I do think there's a chance that it could be one of the better offensive lines of football if these guys, these young players, take the step that they need to. But of course, maybe it doesn't happen. They're just not very good and they missed the draft picks and they suck. But I think that there's hope with that offensive line going into the season.
Yeah.
And I like Caleb Johnson, like the player. So
I think he was okay. Like even coming out, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was like great. But for that,
No.
but with the Steelers, that's what you need. You just need somebody who can kind of grind it. The person that Jalen Warren becomes very interesting too. So
yeah, no, I agree. Where did he go?
He went afterward. I think he went after Caleb Johnson, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he went 9th round. Damn, he went way down there.
Yeah, way down here. Oh shit's my pick.
Am I lagging? You're lagging.
Am I lagging right now? My back?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I'm gonna grab one more back. Let's go with
Baseball.
Just went Rico. I don't love it. I hate this team, by the way. I hate this team. Honestly, I hate this team. Kate is so your team ass. You're right, bro. This is not a Jahan type team. You know what though? But it's different. Like when you
gotta
like,
as many drafts as we'll be doing this year.
You gotta the same players, right?
Yeah, it gets boring when you just draft the same players over and over.
But it's funny because then you can kind of be like, all right, if I try this out, this didn't end the way I thought it was going to. And it sucks when you draft with a whole bunch of people that draft just like you too. I'll say that. I will say that, man. Kelsey is washed this year. Is probably his last. Have we talked about this Chiefs offense? Because I kind of think this Chiefs offense is going to be explosive this year.
I think it could be really good.
I think I think this Chiefs offense is going to be way more reminiscent of what we saw in 2013 than what we saw last year. Like
Yeah.
last year, the team was just banged up. You know, you
Yeah.
get Rashee Rice is out. You got Kelsey playing wash. You got he was just washed last year, just not playing at a high level for the early part of the year. Hollywood Brown was out. You get all those guys back. You get Xavier Worthy in his second year. You add speed downfield. I could just see is that Isaiah Pacheco's back, and you add Kareem Hunt to that. I could just see this offense being like way more explosive than we're even thinking. Like potentially even like 5,000-yard Mahomes again.
I think we kind of thought that last year, and then it just all imploded. Like all of them got hurt, and you know we said that like they retooled, bringing in Hollywood Brown, the speed on the outside could be there.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. Like nothing's changed. It's just they really disappointed last year because everybody got hurt, and I would say that's kind of like it's a discounted offense because that's just what happens in fantasy. Like they disappoint, people get that bad taste in their mouth, and then they're out. They don't want anything to do with it. I personally, though, I do think Travis Kelce I think Travis Kelce is going to be a little disappointing unless he has not even really. I think that he could be really disappointing unless he has some big spike week, like not spike week, big touchdowns.
He will
totals because last year it was really down. I think he only had 5 touchdowns last year. Yeah. So I that's one that I do think like because I think Rashee Rice, and it was clear last year when Rashee Rice was in there, like he basically took over Travis Kelce's role, like middle of the field, yards after catch, getting in the soft part of the zones, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I could see Travis Kelce just having like a last hurrah and have like 10 plus touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see Kelce like going out on a good note here, but I don't know. All right, let's do this. Instead of ranking the teams, because I know you guys, we're rating the teams. I'm like, let's get an extra mock in. But what I want to start doing is, and you guys, this will give you guys a chance too to like let us know where we at. Best pick, worst pick of the round. Like your favorite pick, worst pick in like 10, 15 seconds. What was your favorite pick? If you're looking at the board right now, your favorite pick that you see here on the mock, best value, and then worst pick that you see. You guys can let us know in the comments too. Like the reason why I said that is because Pat Mahomes, him down here, I think this is one of the best values you can get, bro. Like that was incredible value to me in the 8th round.
Are we doing it?
Me and you. Best pick, worst pick.
Okay.
Like the pick, you're like, why did you do that shit? And then the other pick, like, damn, you got hella. That was a great, incredible steal.
Okay. So you want me to go with my best value right now?
Best value and worst value.
All right. So I mean, me personally, like, I'm gonna be biased. I think Josh Allen in the 4th round is incredible value. I understand that it's a quarterback, but like. And I agree with you with Patrick Mahomes too. A10 is really nice, but like QB1, Josh Allen, 4th round, I like that. And then worst value, go ahead. Do you have one already?
Yeah,
I do. Go ahead.
I do. And I'll look at obviously like for me, what I'm looking for is who's going around those certain players. And when I see Amarian Hampton, I know you really like him, but like I think that's a little early for him, in my opinion, when we don't know what his workload's like. He went in the 5th round, so he's in the 5th round.
I like that there.
I know you do, but for me, I'm just not a big Hampton guy, especially we don't know what that workload looks like early on. So, and then me, I think I didn't like that James Cook pick I had too. And then my best pick, I think my favorite pick here, probably Jonathan Taylor at the end of the 2nd. Because like Jonathan Taylor, he could have easily made that his 3rd round pick. Like Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd and 3rd when he could be a top 5 back is insane. Insane. I think that Taylor pick is crazy.
The worst pick, I'm gonna go with I hate this, like Jerry Jeudy, 5'10". Like I just think there's other guys that I'd rather take.
You're not feeling Jeudy this year?
No, I think he was very lucky that Jameis Winston played when he did because that's when he scored like all of his points if you go and look at it. So for me personally, like I'd rather take like both the rookie wide receivers over him, Cortland Sutton over. Like there's just other guys I'd rather go over him.
Yeah. So Mahomes for sure. Worst pick round 1, Amon-Ra. Jay Bryant, easily the best team. Okay, I ain't mad at that. Worst pick, Terry.
Why is Amon-Ra a bad pick? Is that
Maybe
what he's
early?
saying?
Yeah, maybe early over Gibbs.
That's the
We're
only
dealing
person
with the
I
knee
wouldn't.
injury.
That's the only person I wouldn't.
What about Brian Thomas? I got Brian Thomas over St. Brown.
St. Brown's been a top 3 wide receiver for the past 2 years.
He's boring. He's a boring pick.
He is boring, and I think that's the problem. Is like drafting fatigue. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown."
Yeah, Devontae in the 4th is crazy. I think getting Devontae in the 4th is crazy. J-Mo's bad.
He goes there kind of though.
He does go there, but like to say the
J-Mo
name
is bad.
Devontae
I didn't want to shit on that team too bad, but I did not like the J-Mo pick.
I didn't like the J-Mo pick too. It was just upside because I think he'll be like a top 20 guy this year. That was more of just like I think I wanted to get J-Mo on a team. I haven't drafted him.
Yeah.
So I want to see what the team.
You're just going with a team you don't draft.
Yes. Yeah. Except for the first Tyreek Hill, I was taking.
Yeah, the first 2 picks, I would say. Yeah.
Worst value, Tyreek Hill in the 2nd. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. All right. We got the other draft ready to go. You got in there yet? All right, we got through the draft ready to go. This is a 10-team league. This one will be quick. All right. This one will be quick, and then we'll get into one more. Wait, no, look at my explanation. Where's your explanation, bro? What was your explanation? Kate, I didn't see your explanation, bro. I didn't see it.
For what?
He said, wait, look at my explanation. I said, I didn't see it.
Well, what did he say before that?
About maybe it was about St. Brown. Oh, because he said, I did see it. I thought we were doing every round. That's all good. Damn, that shit filled up fast. These fill up fast. Maybe I'll have to figure out a way to start doing it too, bro. I gotta figure out. I know you're already game for it, but I gotta figure that shit out.
What's that?
I gotta figure that out. All right.
Only 2 wide receivers. All right.
2 wide receivers. So we're going 2 wide receivers and a flex in this one. 2 wide receivers and a flex, and it's half point PPR. Did I put half point? I think I did half PPR. So heavier value on the running backs in this one. And so when you're going into these, like I know you do a lot of underdog drafts, which are half point PPR. Are you taking that into account, or are you still going with like in your head PPR drafts? Like, because I think even on underdog, they start 3 receivers. You still got to kind of give the edge to the running back in this situation because they're going to score a little bit more points. Are you taking that into account when you go on underdog or in your half point PPR leagues, or are you kind of drafting for talent the same way?
No, I do take into account a little bit. The only problem just with underdog, the wide receivers go so fast that you have to take them a little bit early, but I still like to have 1 or 2 running backs, and I'm okay with going like 1 wide receiver and then like 2 running backs because they do get pushed down the board a little bit. So you could have a start where, and I've had it before, where I have like CeeDee Lamb and then I have Josh Jacobs and Kyron Williams, and then I'm okay with like just not drafting another running back for a while because hey, those 2 guys don't get hurt. Those will be my studs every single week, and I can just focus on the wide receiver position. But
yeah, and I think when it's easy to forget, like when you're doing half point PPR league, how different point totals that is. That's like for receivers, that's a 50-point drop. If you're getting 100 catches, that could be a pretty big drop. And then also too, like to have stud running backs. This comment's actually spot on. In best ball, you have stacked running backs, or you can get like a really good quarterback. It makes a big difference in your lineup. So I think when you do half point PPR, it's important to realize like what draft settings you have, and even the scoring matters. So like for instance here, when you look at the scoring options, Bucky Irving's at 239. The highest receiver is at 203. And we only start 2, and then on our rosters, we're only starting 2 receivers. So it's important to realize who the scorers are and making sure that you get some running backs. You make sure that you account for that as you're doing your mock draft. As you're doing your mock.
Who's he going to go?
He's
Bucky?
about to go Bucky. No, he ain't going Bucky. Yeah,
Chase Brown, because Bucky's hated here.
Bucky's hated here. You can take Bucky right here, bro.
No, I already have 2 running backs. I want a wide receiver. I'm going to go with a guy who's going to I think kind of blow up this year.
If you say
Not
Lad,
even kind of, but a lot.
oh my God, he did Lad.
He's gonna be so good this year.
What's Lad? What is Lad's upside, bro? You think like he don't have 10
Top
touchdown
5.
upside? No, he does not have top five. There's no
Easily.
way. There's no way Lad is a
He had
top
7
5.
touchdowns last year. What do you mean he doesn't have 10 upside?
He don't have 10 upside. That was a year where they didn't have no run game.
Yeah,
The run game was
7.
non-existent last year. Once JK got hurt and then Gus was hurt.
He could easily get like because the reason why he can get to 10 is because he actually has. This is kind of like the Joe Burrow, like not he's obviously not Jamar Chase, but like the reason why Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase could always be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football is because he's tied to one of the best passers in the NFL. Ladd McConkey proved last year that he's a very good wide receiver. To have 1,000 yards, 1,100 as a rookie wide receiver, like that is very, very good for real life football. So he is very good at real life football, and then he's tied to. I don't care what anybody says. You agree that Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, like one of the best.
Depends on what you call one of the best. I say he's I'm
saying like 6,
top 10 to 12ish. I think he's a top 10 to 12ish quarterback.
Top 10, definitely top 10.
I think he's top 10. I think he's top 10.
Like I would say he's like mid inside the top 10. Like you could say definitely like, if you want to say.
So like, Josh, I got Josh Allen over him.
Lamar.
I put Lamar over him. Put Burrow over him. I put Mahomes over him.
Mahomes. And then I think it's in conversation. There's maybe one more we're forgetting about.
I know there's one more we're forgetting about. I just can't think off the top of my head.
Is that 5 or did we say 4?
That was 4. Because I'm not putting Jalen Hurts over him. I'm not putting Dak. Sometimes is there. Not putting Kyler up there. I'm trying to think of like a quarterback I'm just missing on right now. He might be. He's locked in top 10. He's locked in top 10.
Yeah, I would say
he's probably now like 6 to 8 range.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. Let me look at the quarterbacks real quick.
He's a very good, like the dude's.
Oh, Jaden Daniels. I would take Jaden Daniels over him.
I would say it's questionable. If Jay Daniels can obviously build upon last year, then sure.
I would take Jaden Daniels over Herbert.
But that would be the 1. So he's 6 or 5. Wait, no, was that 5? No,
he'd be number 6. He'd be number 6, right? Yeah, damn. I don't know. Kyler's up there, but I still would rather have Herbert than Kyler.
Yeah, I would definitely rather have Herbert.
And then Dak is kind of questionable too. Dak's kind of questionable. I would say Dak is up there.
I'll just I'll go with T, whatever. I don't take T a whole lot.
It is weird when you have to like start taking players who you just like don't normally take because you get draft fatigue or like having the same. I do that sometimes in Underdog, unfortunately. Like I'll have so many of the same type of players. I'm like, I can't take them again, bro.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the guy that I want will get back to me anyways, because I doubt he'll go on because let's see. Yeah, unless he just gets auto drafted, then he probably will get him. Oh, just in time.
I was thinking you about to get Jalen.
Me?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and that's probably.
If I had to guess. Ladd is a top 15 receiver. I don't know who the best after Chase and Jefferson. All just a crapshoot. I think you got to put CD in that conversation too.
CD? Why?
You got to put CD in that conversation.
Well, this is like I'm not even. So, well, 2 things. First thing is
CD in this conversation.
100%. Like I think that people like I don't understand. Like we were just taking CD Lamb as a wide receiver 1 last year.
I'm like George Pickens is that much.
For me personally, like CD's over Jefferson for sure for me this year, and the reason being, yeah, for sure, just because like we know what CD is capable. Like he's already been the wide receiver 1. We just need Dak to stay healthy. Like if Dak can stay healthy for all season long, CD's healthy, and JJ McCarthy is not very good. I have no question in my mind that CD will outperform Justin Jefferson. Like, I think that he will. So, like, and I like personally, if it's a 3 wide receiver league, I won't even be mad if it's full point 3 wide receiver league if CD's the second overall pick. Like, CD's a stud. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely. And then to say even Amon-Ra in a full point PPR league, Amon-Ra's been a top 3 wide receiver the past 2 years. Like, the dude is guaranteed to go for 1,100 plus, 1,200 plus with 150 targets. Like, that's just Amon-Ra.
I think the thing with St. Brown is, like,
Guaranteed.
obviously the offensive coordinator change is going to be
That might be the one hiccup.
It could be the second hiccup, and then when you have a knee injury that might lead into the season, there's some question marks about it. There's supposedly he's ready. He's ready.
I don't pay attention to any of that until training camp. If he's not ready for training camp, then sure. Like,
but
that could be it.
That could be the difference in this team. And I'm like, I think his yardage total is sitting at like 1075, something super low for a guy like St. Brown. You're like, kind of makes you think, like, why is his total so low? His total, I want to say it's at like 1075, maybe 1125, but I want to say it's like super low for a guy of his caliber.
But his prop is what you're saying?
Yeah, season long prop. So it's sometimes I don't always read into Vegas, but I do at times think like, okay, like, why are they putting it this low? Like, what's the reason for that?
But I don't even think it's I think there's so many good wide receivers. Like, even like Brian Thomas Jr., we talked about him.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, we know how good he is if he can stay healthy. Like, Puka Nacua, like I talked about this last time, 17, 18 fantasy points per game his first 2 years in the league. What else do you want? You want him to put 20 plus?
This is how I view receivers. I'm not gonna like talent-wise, obviously, like, they're all up there. I think in my head is Chase, CD. Those are like elite talent guys, right?
Yeah.
Even like a Devontae Adams. So I start to think of, okay, who's the talent? Whereas I think like St. Brown's kind of more of I don't want to just straight up call him a system guy, but he's kind of a system guy, right? AJ Brown is more of a dog, go get it guy. Brian Thomas more of a dog, go get it guy. So I think, what's the ceiling? This is how I kind of judge like who's elite. Chase can go for 2,000 yards, 10, 15 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb can go for 2,000 yards, 1,800, 2,000 yards, 10, 15 touchdowns. Jettis can go for 2,000 yards, 10, 15 touchdowns. Like, those are the ceiling plays, right? Brian Thomas kind of has that ceiling for me. St. Brown don't have nowhere near that ceiling. Puka Nacua don't have that ceiling to me. Even Malik Neighbors and AJ Brown, they don't really have that ceiling to me of like 1,800. Malik don't have 1,800 and 2,000 yard ceiling with 10, 15 touchdowns with Russell Wilson. Ain't no way. Maybe in the future, not now.
Sure, but like, okay, that's fair. But like, to say that Brian Thomas does what Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't done shit.
Brian Thomas is like Randy Moss. He got 15, 20 touchdowns. I don't think that would shock anybody.
But like, Malik Neighbors had a better season than him last year with worse quarterback play.
Volume, but Russ is a different quarterback though. Russ isn't going to check down and like throw the shorter volume targets. That's
like, what has Trevor Lawrence done? I understand that you can sit here and say, hey, Trevor Lawrence is going to be better than, but like, what has he truly done?
But but you got to just think like the volume is going to be there for him. Like if he's a 4,000 yard passer, if he's a 4,000 yard passer, if Trevor does take the next step, which that's what we're really waiting for, is like, can Trevor just be better than fucking mid, which he's been? If Trevor takes the next step, Brian Thomas is the pure beneficiary of that. If Trevor Lawrence throws 30 touchdowns, it's like Brian Thomas probably has the wide receiver one season. If Trevor Lawrence takes any step up, Brian Thomas is probably the number one wide receiver in all fantasy football.
But you could say, I mean, if you want to get into the if games, I mean, listen, I think the best case scenario, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, Jameis Winston made fucking Jerry Jeudy a top 12 wide receiver last year because of the short play that he had. If Jameis Winston is the quarterback in New York, I would throw the house on Malik Neighbors finishing as the wide receiver one in fantasy football. I don't think that's going to happen. But and there's also a chance. Hey, I'm saying there's a chance. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to happen. What if
I'm locking this take in for you? I'm locking this take in for you. You said it's going to happen now.
What if Jackson Dart's actually pretty good? Wait, why Quinshawn?
Stop. Why Quinshawn? Why not?
Why did you say? Oh, you're locking what?
I'm locking your take in right now. You just said Jackson Dart's going to be good.
Oh, I didn't say that.
You just said that.
I
You said
said
Jackson
if.
Dart's going to be. You said he's going to be elite.
He could be. Who knows? Could be. What if he is? I don't think
No.
he's going to be, but
No. But yeah, I took Judkins there. I think Judkins just having another back. That was why I took him there. I wasn't talking about
no.
him.
I thought you were locking in the take with him or something.
No. I think you're right about Malik. He's an elite talent, and obviously will have a great season. I just think when we're talking pure ceiling, when I'm looking at the guys that I want to draft at the top of the draft, I don't see an 1,800-yard, 10, 15 touchdown ceiling out of him with Russ at quarterback. Probably not even with Jameis at quarterback, and definitely not with Jackson Dart at quarterback if this team tanks. I just don't see it. Oh, fuck, I'm about to.
Good auto drafted again.
Now we go to Porter here.
No, you should have went with Johnny.
Hell no. Good question, though. Pimp Daddy Stan, good question. That's a good talking point there. Good talking point. People get fixated on last year's stats. That is true. A lot of Rashee Rice. This draft, I'm taking players I've never drafted before after my first pick. I think to be honest, you don't want to do that in every draft, but I think it's a good strategy to say, okay, like maybe I'm off on my values, or like, what does my team look like if I do this? And I don't like my team again, bro. I don't like my team.
I like my team.
I don't like your team either.
No, I love my team.
I don't like your team.
I
feel like in 10-team leagues, I try to get a little bit better depth than I have right now, but it's also half-point PPR, so I didn't grab the receivers I normally grab. I like Team 3, but that looks like a PPR team to me. But I love Team 3.
Yeah.
I love Team 3.
So it's not 3 wide receivers, so like
yeah.
I don't like that many wide receivers.
I like Sonny G's team down at the end too. H.M. Mixon and D-Mont. Only thing is that you got to have that number 2 spot filled up. Like Sutton as your 2.
Yeah, I don't like that.
The good thing about 10-team leagues, and if I was in a 10-team league, the one thing I would say about like the way I drafted versus like the way Team 3 drafted, the difference is if you're in a league that trades, I'd much rather have like a Team 3. Because you can finesse a lot of times like running backs that are disappointing throughout stretches for those like high value names at receiver. So I would say if you're in a league that trades, my strategy is probably not very good. I'm drafting to like play this league out, but I would say draft name value at receiver because you can easily flip like DK Metcalf for a running back in the middle of the season if you're in a league that trades.
Well, I'll say like the second team too is you can always find running backs throughout the season to kind of like plug holes and stuff. But just if I'm in a 2 running back league, I'd rather take. I understand you're taking a lot of wide receivers, but like after like Chris Godwin, I probably would have just started attacking like running backs and trying to just chase like high upside guys that could be, maybe an RB1 in fantasy, and they can just be my flex then after Saquon and Breeze, because like. Also, running backs, like very good running backs, are just so much. They're impossible to acquire in fantasy. Like I feel like you could get a solid wide receiver, like a high end wide receiver too, rather than like a high end RB2 that's doing pretty well. Like they're just harder to get.
And you talk about like at the top of the draft, we're saying, oh, all the receivers are the same after like Chase and Jefferson. All the receivers are the same after like DK. All the receivers are the same.
Yeah, they're the same after that. That's what. Earlier when he said it's a crapshoot. I think there's like 13, 14 really, really good, maybe a little bit more, but like guys that I could see. My God, if I get one of these guys, my wide receiver 1, I like it. Oh man, come on, P. That's not even that. I thought that was Baker.
We have some good combos right now, bro. I like the conversation right now. I'm not gonna hold you,
but. Like I like the wide receiver, those high-end wide receiver ones, because I think they're studs and they may not have. It's not. I do think like Malik has a high-end ceiling. He might not reach that high-end ceiling this year. We might still be a year or 2 early for him to truly. But I do think he has a high-end ceiling. But like I agree with you in like the DK range, like the DK, the DJ Moore. Like what the fuck's the difference between DK Metcalf and like truly Calvin Ridley? Like, it's really not that much of a difference.
It's not that much of it. I would say like not that much of a difference.
Not that much between like DK and like just a couple rounds ago, in my opinion, like AJ Brown. Like I think
Yeah,
there's a big difference between that. So like I'd rather just
like
like
it wouldn't shock me if Michael Pittman had a DK Metcalf year.
no 100. Even like I was gonna say DK Metcalf and like I don't like Jaden Reed. Like if Jaden Reed rebounces this or bounces back this year on the good offense, like could
Yeah,
probably put close to DK. And then that's why, like for me personally, I'd rather just like hammer the running back position there and just start getting, Travion Henderson. Maybe he's a fucking stud. He could be
maybe
the
he is.
best. I don't think
Sometimes
he's going to be, but he could be the best running back in this class. We don't know. Like who knows?
best running back in the class, huh?
I don't think he will be, but I don't think people thought Brian Thomas was going to be the best wide receiver in last year's class.
that is big facts.
He could be the best wide receiver in last year's class.
That's
Better
the
than Marv.
beautiful
Everybody
thing.
thought Marv.
Beautiful thing about fantasy football and football in general, you got to play the games. As much as we want to say our takes, as much as teams draft players, you have to play the game. And that's another thing too. When you do your drafts,
Oh no shit. Oh well.
you don't want them.
No, I
We over here.
just want to take Mark instead of him. They're
There
right
you
next
go.
to each other.
Oh, you can't get Mark. Get somebody
It's all
else.
right. It's all right.
The thing about the thing about in the mock drafts too, or in your real drafts, I should say, is you got to account for injury, right? So like team 3, we talked about love the setup, but like if Saquon Barkley gets an ankle week 1,
Yeah.
you're done. Like you're taking a 3-4 game L, and so I would just be very careful with that, especially when you have 6 receivers. You can only start 3 max. Like just be careful with that. You want to have enough to get you through buys or potential injury, but you don't want to have overkill where everybody then they look at you as the trade option. They're like, oh, you have to trade one, or I'm not going to help you. Because I get that a lot too. I get that a lot. I'm not going to help you out. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to trade, man.
Yeah.
Just trying to trade. Oh, he took my quarterback, bro. He took my quarterback, bro. I thought he was going to make it back to me. Jordan Love is the QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn. That's why I'm going to get my guy. I haven't drafted him all offseason, except for like when we very first started doing it. I'm about to get him.
That is one thing I like to do, and that's why I went with Jalen, just because like in 10 teams, I feel like you want as much of a that's why I wish I would have went with a tight end a little bit earlier. Like you want as much of a like positional advantage that you can get, and I think Jalen offers that at the quarterback position. Like I like Jordan Love a lot.
Yeah.
And he could be top 5, like in a really, really good season where he puts up a lot of touchdowns. It could happen, but like I think Jalen Hurts will more than likely plays a full year, will definitely be top 5. So like in 10 teamers, I approached that part a little bit differently, but that's just one.
10 teamers are whack. It's just everybody stacked. Like you talked about, like that's where, but I think you make a lot of really valid points. It's like, this is where you want to try to find outliers. This is where you want to try to find those difference makers. And just looking at even my draft, there was an opportunity when I could have taken, who was it? It was, Brock. I was looking at Brock Bowers. I was like, okay, Brock might fall to me. And then he didn't. It kind of flushed me for a second. So I think there's opportunities here when you can find like that elite talent in a 10-team draft, because you're going to have, like we talked about, you can pick up receivers that are all pretty similar. After the top 15 running backs, all of them are the same. For like the next 8 to 9, they're all pretty much similar. Like Tony Pollard versus James Conner versus Chuba Hubbard versus Isaiah Pacheco. Like to me, it's all the same. Brian Robinson. Like there's a lot of question marks there with all of them. So I don't know. I don't think it's whack. I think it's just a different strategy. And you kind of got to get, I would say there's a little bit more luck involved with just like not having your top player hurt. Because if you don't have your top player hurt, then like you're probably standing out more than anybody else.
And also, I think it's a younger generation thing to say like 10 teamers are whack, because I feel like the younger generation is able to like go in fantasy leagues with people they don't really know. Where like the older guys, like they don't like to do that. So they may not have 12 friends that play fantasy football, and it might only be 10. So like they're just playing with their buddies in high school that they've been in the same league. So like I think 10 teams are fine. I wouldn't go with anything smaller than 10. That's when I do think it gets whack.
8 or I've seen 16. Like what
yes, I've seen, and I've gotten people that have. I remember there was a couple years ago, like somebody wanted me to do a one-on-one with him for a 6-man draft, and I was like, bro, what? All right, but like a 6-man draft, like everybody's
Hey,
team are gonna be so loaded. You don't need any help there. It's just
that's
hopefully you get
crazy.
lucky. That's really what a 6-man is.
All right, y'all want to do a speed? Have you done a speed draft before? You want to do a speed draft like 10 seconds, 14 teams?
I mean, that's fine with me.
Let's try it. Let's do a speed draft, 14 teams. Let's do a speed draft, 14 teams, 3 receivers, PPR league. Speed draft. I'm gonna pick. Oh shit! I gotta spread this one out so we can see all the teams. I'm gonna pick spot 3. I probably should pick a book in and back end, but all right, we're gonna do the next one's gonna be a speed draft on Sleeper, 14 teams. Oh, shit. Why did that not? All right, yeah, for me, man, we can be done with the 10 team, and I think, like I said, just it's a different strategy. You're right, because I got a lot of my home league that I used to be in was 10 team, and it was fun, but we had to be 3 receivers. We had to add 2 flex spots. So it's like you can make it a little bit more palatable,
Yeah,
in my
a
opinion.
little. No, that's definitely that's what I would do. I wouldn't do like a standard two wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Like I would definitely adjust that. That way, it's teams are still going to be somewhat stacked, but I do think that ups the like having to draft a really good team. It makes that difference compared to your casual.
Yeah.
A bigger gap there when it's more flex involved because it's those leagues are always a little bit more difficult.
All right, y'all. Let us know what you guys think about this mock in the comment section. We're gonna move over to the other one because I think there was all good value here. I probably had the worst pick out of anybody. I don't know which one it was, but I'm just gonna say it. Share this tab and stay. All right, 14 team draft, man. Speed round. So just so everybody knows, there's gonna be a high probability we're gonna get auto drafted at some point. Make sure to get back in the draft quick. 3 receivers, 4 bench spots. Let's get it. Speed draft, baby. Speed draft, man. I don't do a whole lot of speed drafts, but I like doing these. It's kind of like you got to have your guys ready a little earlier.
Yeah, got to be on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Time's up. Oh no.
Already 1 auto. Get back on. 10 seconds. Let's go. You gotta be quick. Another thing you guys could do too is queue it up. Queue it up. Oh, he took Bijan. Up. Took Bijan from me, bro. Let's go Saquon. Only thing is when I can't do the queue on stream because I get sniped every time. Let's see Jahmyr Gibbs pop up. Puka, see you and Puka over St. Brown. You said St. Brown. I thought you had him as your 4. No.
Like we say though, I mean it definitely. I would have won with Jahmyr Gibbs, honestly.
You do got to switch it up though. You got to switch it up. You got to switch it up.
I wanted to go with. I honestly was going to reach and go with Malik, but I'd have enough time to go down there.
Malik. Do you think CMC will be a top 5 running back this year? I don't know about top 5.
I think if he stays healthy, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like he has to stay healthy. I think, if he stays healthy, he's top 5. But will he stay healthy? I think that's the biggest question you got to ask yourself.
I mean, we talked about this last time. I think he's a tremendous value personally, and I've never been a guy who is very big on CMC just because of the injury. But like, I'm okay with where he's going. Hell yeah, I'll take that all day.
I'm not mad at where he's going, and I do think he has the upside. Normally, I take players like that, but when you got older running back, has a history of not staying healthy. He's only been healthy in 4 of the 8 seasons he's played. It's tough for me to like be fully invested in that. So I don't know. I think in the second round, if I can get him second round, I'm a little bit more interested. But first round, Christian McCaffrey, I think where he went here is fine. But first round, I'm cool up Christian McCaffrey. Unless it's a best ball league, and I'm playing the upside specifically. That's really the only way.
Man, I can't. I should have went with Kyron. I keep taking a lot of Josh Jacobs too. I have a lot of Josh Jacobs.
Really?
I like Josh Jacobs a lot.
Oh my God, these dudes are sniping. All right, lock down my RBs in this 14-team league. I might go unconventional here, bro. I might go a little unconventional, J-Hen, here. Nah, I ain't finna go unconventional, bro.
JSN, take him.
Never that. I probably actually should have went if I was really looking down there. I saw Rashee Rice in the corner of my eye. I probably would have went him right there instead. If I'm being honest. Are you drafting RJ Harvey? Oh, hold on a second. I like this question right here. Smooth, I'll get back to that question, or Corey, whoever that was. Why are we fading Baker? And this is a good question. Like, nobody took Baker in that draft. Is he just one of those names, Tyler? Because I think he might be one of those names we're so used to him being like not really elite, but he had 40 touchdowns last year. The offense got to bump up at receiver position. They took a receiver in the first round, Emeka Egbuka. Like, why are we being too hard on him, thinking like touchdown regression is coming his way? Because he's going outside of the top like 7 to 8 quarterbacks normally. Why are we fading him?
Well, I think he should be like around there. I think in the 10 team, he probably should have been drafted.
He should.
But for me personally, like I'm not as high on Baker as he's never had over 30 passing touchdowns. Besides last season, he had 41. I definitely think that offense is going to regress. Like he goes around, like in a lot of drafts, he goes ahead of Kyler Murray. I'd rather have Kyler Murray over him.
Yeah. For the rushing upside.
Yeah, and like there's a tier. Like he belongs in that tier. Like I would not be shocked. And I've said this before. I wouldn't be shocked if like Jordan Love has a better season than him. And Jordan Love is going on underdog 10 quarterbacks later. Like I'd rather have, like if I'm building my team like that, I'd rather take Jordan Love over him. Like even Drake May. Like I wouldn't take Drake May over him for where he's currently going. I just would skip out on Baker and Jordan or Drake May later. So
I feel like the quarterback position just has too many guys from outside of the top like 6, 7 that could be top 5.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of them, and I think
or
that's
even like they could be quarterback 10. Like Baker could have a bit of a down season. He finishes quarterback 10. So can Dak Prescott.
Yes.
So could Justin Herbert.
I think that's the big. I would say like that's the big issue with taking Baker right now is that you're taking him damn near at his like ceiling right now. But I guess maybe not really. Go worthy for some upside. NBA free agency begins in 30 minutes. This should be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's getting like disrespected, but I feel like Baker. I don't know. Baker's just one of those picks that I don't fully. I don't know. Maybe I just don't fully believe in it.
Yeah, it was like I just made a video on this like last week. Actually, Jonnu Smith was in it too. Like I would just never take. I'd never click Jonnu Smith. Was not interested in Jonnu Smith.
Good question. Though. Shout out to the people watching on Twitch, man. If you're watching on Twitch, what up? We're going to get active on Twitch this year too, bro. You drafted RJ Harvey at his projected ADP. Is he the lead back over J.K. Dobbins? I'm not drafting RJ Harvey or much J.K. Dobbins. I think in best ball, like I want to have a little bit of exposure to those guys, but like I'm not really drafting either one of those. And I think it's because you already know the offense goes through. It's a Sean Payton offense. So we know he doesn't mind using a committee. He doesn't mind using the hot back at times. And you also bring in like an Evan Ingram. So there's anticipation that like the passing game is probably going to stay prominent too. So I think you make an investment into the run game, but it's like, I don't think it's one guy that they lean on. And I think Dobbins is hot. He's going to take over a majority of the work. And I think if RJ Harvey's hot, he's going to take over a majority of the work. So we're going to see times where both of these backs look the part. And I think they're both more like at best flexes. I don't really see a whole lot of upside for like RB2 out of either one of them personally.
I like Harvey for where he's going a little bit. Like he's already. I mean, I would have. I was considering him there. with my pick over Pacheco.
Why do you like Harvey? So like why? Talk to me about like why you like him, because I know they reached up to take him. He wasn't even supposed to be a second round pick. They reached up to take him, so obviously that's Sean Payton's guy. But I see like a little bit of a committee. You still got McLaughlin. You still got Audric Estime. I'm not saying they're good or even going to be on the roster by start of the season, but you still have those guys there. What makes you optimistic about RJ Harvey this year?
I liked him coming out of college, like super explosive, mega producer in college. And the thing, I made a video on this. I don't know the exact how it went. Hold on one sec. Let me.
No, you're good. We got that short clock, so you got to be ready on that one.
I guess I'll go Laporta. So somebody was looking back at the athleticism. For me, matters at the running back position, and RJ Harvey is so athletic. And somebody was looking at it. I forget what the exact thing was, but it was like over the past decade, spark scored athletes that were in like the 90th percentile that were drafted in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, or first 3 rounds, 2 or 3. Like it was a 90% hit rate. It was like Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall. Like these guys were just like it was amazing to see. I think there was only one miss. So RJ Harvey fell into that, and now he's one of these guys. So there is a chance that he is kind of the outlier out of that group. But like the reason why I like him too is, once again, mega producer. I think he is not great in the receiving game and needs to work on his pass pro. Maybe that's where J.K. Dobbins comes in. But also last year, Bo Nix was first amongst all quarterbacks in terms of check down rate at the quarterback position. So highest check down rate in the NFL. And we've seen Sean Payton have multiple running backs.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. So for me personally, like I have faith that he made the pick himself and was like, yeah, I've seen RJ Harvey. I like him. I want that guy. So, and also he's older for a running back. He's 24. So I don't think that they would have made that pick unless they really, really liked him and they're like, we need him. So, and he's palatable, much more palatable than early before. I think he would have gone way out of control, but JK kind of,
I think JK, it made it to where like you can draft
like
him now and get similar
easier
upside.
now.
Tyler should have taken Kyron and saved Jacobs for me.
I was thinking about going Kyron. Yeah. Well, I said I would have.
I like Jacobs over Kyron, but I could feel like I feel like they're similar though. Like they should be. Yeah, they're not too far off.
I think Jacobs is a better real life player than Kyron.
What's good, Ron? Said appreciate the live stream while I'm in this DC traffic. Shout out to you in that DC traffic right now. I don't know how it is out there, but he said, who y'all hire on, Caleb or Kyler? I don't think this is really a question. I think it's Kyler until Caleb still has to prove himself. And I know you get Ben Johnson, you get Luther Burden, but it's like he still has to prove himself. Like, and I think that's
got to be this year. I don't want to say it's got to be, but like the expectations, or if it doesn't happen this year and the offense stays healthy and he's a disappointment, there's going to be so much. Like, could you imagine what the Chicago radio is going to be saying about him?
I don't know if it's like that because I think of the exact same. So. No, because you know what you think about it, it's the same way as we did with Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence, it's like we didn't start really clamoring for Trevor Lawrence to be like under the microscope until like year 4. And you got to give him the out. Like he's young, he's an elite prospect. It takes time. I know people were saying things about it, but Trevor Lawrence, but it was also that one. The reason why is because Trevor Lawrence made the comeback in the playoffs. that gave him like the ultimate pass when they beat the Chargers. That gave him a pass. So it was like
it's also not Chicago. It's Jacksonville. Like Chicago's different.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's got that history behind them. I mean, they don't have a history of a quarterback. That's been one thing the franchise has never had, is a franchise quarterback. So, and like Caleb was looked at as one of the, so was Trevor, one of the great prospects we've ever seen. So I personally think, I'm not saying this to make or break a year. He could still disappoint. I think Caleb will be one of those guys, just like Trevor, where 10 years down the road, people will still be like, oh, maybe
it's coming.
Maybe. So
probably,
but I do think it's a big year for him to show some signs of improvement.
Yeah. Oh, Sonny G was popping. He said, "Is this the last mock?" I got one more. Y'all want more?
Man, my team's looking pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. Super
Tyler's got
Bowl.
one more too. I like your team. No, I don't. Your team's all right. Your team's all right.
For a
Yeah,
14 team, I like it.
for a 14 team, yeah. I like my team for a 14 team.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. We do one more. Sonny G got you on one more. We'll do a 12 team. Y'all want to do super flex or you want to do regular next one? Standard? We never do standard on here ever.
Mm-mm.
One more draft, same settings. The 14 teams. You guys like this 14 team fast? 14 team fast. We can do that. A little quick mock. We can do a little quick mock. What do you guys think of team 5? Tony. So what do you think of team 5? Caleb. We got Caleb. CD, Rashid, Judy, with Jacoby Myers, good receiver room. Kyron, Hampton, ETN, Javante. You got Hollywood too. I think it's a good team. You just got to have one of those backs hit. You got to have that RB2 hit, especially because you're going to be at a disadvantage with the quarterback and tight end, presumably. But I don't know.
Yeah,
It
true.
depends.
The tight end position. Who is? Ooh, yeah. Tight end's getting a little ugly, right? I mean, you might as well just punt it at this point, but
yeah, I gotta see how it plays out. I'm not a huge fan of it just because you didn't lock in. Like, I think if you would have had a locked in RB2 right there, I would have felt better about it. But like your wide receiver 3 isn't great, your RB2 isn't great, and your quarterback and your tight end are both not going to be great unless you do something that I'm missing out right now. I like Fields. I do like Fields. I do like Fields. That was a good pick. I do like Fields. So I think you're just gonna have. Oh man, I should. Damn it! I should have went somewhere else there. I wish I should have went Dak there. I really like Jordan Love, but I'd take Dak. I like Dak more than I like Jordan Love personally. So team 5. Let me see how it finishes out. 12 team. We can do a 12 team 30-second. Why so high? I'm assuming he meant Tyler. He did mean Tyler. Why so high on Puka? Talk to him. You got Puka over Neighbors. I know we talked about like draft fatigue, but over Neighbors, Thomas. Why you got Puka so high?
Oh shoot, you went on auto.
That's all good.
You got your
Yeah, I got my backup tight end.
Let me. Ooh, I might go on auto too. Oh no,
You
just
got Trey Benson. There you go.
So I talked about this when P was on, but like we had a lengthy conversation. But the thing is, like Puka is, I don't know what else Puka has to do to really prove that he's really good at football. Like the first 2 years in the league, he was 17. He finishes a top 4 wide receiver in fantasy football his rookie season with Cooper Kupp there. So like to do that with Cooper Kupp there, I would say that should already put him on the map. And then the following season, he puts up the second most, I think it was actually the third most behind Chris Godwin, the third most points per game at the wide receiver position with over 18. And when you go and look at players that have done that, like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson have been players who have done that, where they've gone from 17 fantasy points per game up to 18, and then year 3 they made a big jump. I'm not saying he's going to be Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but like he's now in a spot where he is the number 1 target on this offense. He still has a quarterback that I still think can get it done with Matthew Stafford. So I just think he's a very good talent. And has proven in his first 2 years in the league, like he's legit. He's legit.
Yeah, I mean it's tough for like to see players who have done that in their first 2 years and then just like not be that player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's rare. So.
He may not be the wide receiver one, but I think he'll be, if he can stay healthy a full year, definitely will be easily top 10, top 5-ish around there. I like him a lot.
You know, a player I haven't had a chance to talk a lot about, but I've been seeing a lot of hype on him, Dylan Sampson. How do you feel about Dylan Sampson? Because I've seen a lot of the reports, right, where they got him. They said they're playing him out the slot. He's earned the number 2 role already, supposedly over Jerome Ford. But you got a Quinshon Judkins there, obviously, who's going to be taking like the majority of the rushing workload. But like Dylan Sampson in a PPR league, I don't know how to feel about him, and I don't think I know enough about him talent-wise as well. I haven't done enough homework on him, but like, is he that James White type role? Is he going to be like
No.
a little bit more of this? I know he's a pass catcher, but
well, honestly, I
haven't personally done enough homework on him to be like I like him as a player, but I have some interest and intrigue into like what he could possibly be for this Cleveland offense.
Well, I want to say he's not even. I don't even think he's like that good of a pass catcher though. Like that's the thing with him is that I think he's when a lot of people did their scouting, a lot of people liked him as a runner. So he's kind of like that. I don't want to say he's like Bucky, but like he's kind of in that regard where Bucky has been a very, very just good pure running back. And he's been a good receiving back too, don't get me wrong, but he's been a very good where I think that's kind of what Dylan that's why it was really confusing when this team drafted him and Quinshawn, because I don't think he's like that third down kind of back. Like I know that he's not a big back. He's kind of a smaller back, which may seem like he's more of a third down kind of guy, but he's not. Like he's more of a really just good between the tackles, smart runner who has athleticism and explosiveness. So I don't even know if I would say he's more, but we'll see what happens with that team. I don't know.
It's just the role that they said. So it's crazy because like that's you don't normally hear that out of like where they're splitting him out wide unless they view him as a pass catcher. And I'm not sure that they actually use him in that role because you do hear that sometimes too, where they're like, hey, we want to use a player in a specific role, and it ends up not being what they expected. But their running back coach is Deuce Staley out of Philly, and they kind of used him in that similar role where back when he was in Philly, is they would use him in the passing game sometimes. Obviously not like in today's NFL, but they would use him in the passing game on like swing routes and things like that too. So I don't know. I'm not overly positive that he's like this supreme pass catcher or anything. It was just curious to me to see like
in 14 team. I mean, I wouldn't even mind taking him as late shot running back.
Yeah,
why not?
One more, guys. One more. We doing it, Tyler? I threw it in there already. Y'all want to do one more?
My bad.
Oh, you good. The last one's on Sleeper 2. We're going to do all Sleeper Day. Next week, we're going to do an auction draft.
Next week, we'll do an auction draft. Are you doing 10 minutes or not 10 minutes, 10 seconds again?
Yeah, let's do 10 seconds on this one. Keep it tight.
That was actually not too bad. People were on top of it.
Yeah, I like everybody seems to want to draft more too. And I feel like if we can do where everybody just doesn't abandon their teams, just make it go fast. So, all right. I'm going to move to this one. Yeah, auction next week. It's up. We're going to do auction next week. We're going to do 10 seconds on this one, though, just to keep it a little tight. Speed draft. 12 teams, 3 receivers, PPR. You guys already know who's first off the board. Let's get it. Not Dylan Sampson, as I didn't get to finish typing it
up. Oh, no.
That would be crazy if Dylan Sampson, number 1. I didn't get to finish looking it up. I got to look it up. Gotta look it up, man. Man, this is we got a long time, man, before the offseason. What do you guys want to see? Because one thing me and Tyler did a lot, I think that was, at least I thought it was helpful. But for those who watched last year, we broke down a lot of what was going on, like on a weekly basis before or once the season started. What do you guys want to see before the draft besides mocks? Because we can mock all day and night. We'll probably do that at least for the next couple of weeks until training camp starts. But do you guys like the conversational? You like a little bit more structured? What's your guys' favorite would be helpful? Your favorite setup would be helpful in the comments, in the chat. So, Bijan's still my number 1. Are you going to switch up from Chase as your number 1, or is Chase for sure locked in your number 1?
No, he's locked in my number 1. I do have Bijan as number 2, though.
All right. I got Chase's number 2.
I'll go with build at the wide receiver room.
Your wide receiver.
Top 5 wide receiver, Lai McConkey, come on down. He's going to be a flag plant guy for me this year.
Really?
Yeah. because I'd rather take him over London, AJ Brown.
Good luck with that. You're taking him over London and AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Ladd or St. Brown?
Oh, Amon-Ra is definitely over Ladd though.
You're taking Ladd. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have fun with that this year, bro. I'm gonna stitch some more of your shit this year. I got to. Oh my god, bro. They both went. I'm gonna be higher on Rasheed this year. I'm gonna be higher on Rasheed Rice this year.
He's a beast.
He is a beast. He is a beast. And I think it's like I get so concerned about that KC offense because it's like you knew it in years past. You knew it went through Kelsey. You bring in Hollywood Brown, who's not great. I think he's a jag. I think he's just a guy. But you bring in Hollywood Brown. You draft Xavier Worthy. You have the run game with Pacheco. Like I just feel like but it's like no matter what, he still produces.
Yeah, I think he has a very specific role. I think they kind of drafted him because they knew Kelsey was getting towards the end. Instead of saying, "Hey, let's find another tight end. Let's just use Rasheed Rice kind of in that role." So I think he has a very what do I want to do here? We'll go 3 wide receivers.
I like it.
Walk down the wide receiver room.
Yeah, you ain't got to even take a receiver now for a while. Yeah, I think he's gonna be elite. I'm curious to see where ADP because ADP is funny. Like right now it's one way, and then by the time we get to August, players are gonna go up.
Yeah,
off of one catch in a training camp.
The only problem with him though, like I said, I just don't know. I feel like because I think people will maybe the word will come out that the suspension won't happen until next year, and people. I still don't know if he'll ever like. I think he'll kind of cap out mid-second round is where I think he'll be. I don't know if he'll get higher than that.
I think it would be tough to put him over Wilson or Hill or AJ Brown. I would take Rasheed Rice over Ladd McConkey though, easily.
Yeah, honestly, well, I do think I have him ranked. That is true. I got to look at that now.
I said I gotta look at that now, but it's funny because like in a draft, sometimes it's feel though. Like it's feel in a draft. You might feel like, hey, with St. Brown, you might feel all right. They're similar tier to me, so I go McConkey this time over Rice. Sometimes it is feel.
I don't have them just because the one thing because I did my write up for a lot of these guys. I just want to make sure as long as he's good to go, like 100% for training camp, he will move up for me. Like that's just the one thing that I'm just like, which I think he's already been kind of. I've been looking for it. Like he was they said he was a full go for mini camp, but I can't find a ton of shit on it. Like no limitations whatsoever. If he gets to training camp and he's not like he's good to go, then I'm all in. Like he'll be ahead of Ladd.
Couple questions came in. Jahan, where do you rank J-Mo, Pickens, Ridley this year if we drafted heavy RBs and one elite receiver, then have any of those 3 as wide receiver 2 in flex? Do you think that is a good setup considering how fast running backs go? So you're trying to lock in 2 or 3 running backs. Here's what I think. I think J-Mo, if he hits, is going to be a top 15 to 20 receiver if he hits. But I think you're asking a lot of that because of the situation. Just we haven't seen it before. I think Pickens has a ceiling. He could be 1,010, but I kind of think that's his ceiling. More likely he's like an 806 or 7 type guy. So I kind of think Pickens will be good, but I don't think he'll be great in that offense. I think he's capped a little bit just based on the situation. Ridley, I think Ridley has potential. It's how good is Cam Ward early on. And I think Ridley has a lot of potential. And I feel good about taking Calvin Ridley, but you need Cam Ward to be elite early. So if I had to rank these guys, I'll take the upside with J-Mo. Pickens is right there because I think he's a little safer than Ridley. And then Ridley's not that far behind. And I would not want to have those guys as my 2. I'd rather have them as my 3. Just being honest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rather have them at my 3. Bro, they said Ladd over AJ Brown's insane, bro. It is a little insane.
It's
a little insane. A little insane. Jahan, will be covered in training camp. Maybe you can do what is not covered on here. The great part about training camp is I'm going to be talking, but it won't be as much. Oh, shit. I was not ready. Let's go, TJ. And then I don't think I got Cooper Kupp. I still don't have Cooper Kupp today. Let's go, Bodo. Let's go, Baker. Did I get auto drafted?
No.
Okay, good. The good thing is I won't be the only voice on there. So we will have other voices on there, and it's going to be higher level conversations and just rankings. It'll be a lot of this, but more structured, right? And so it'll be, like I said, the goal is to have some NFL talent on there, other analysts who are going to break down like the analytics side. So I think what will be helpful for those who are consistently here and part of my chat is that you're going to hear other voices that may give you a different perspective or maybe confirm some things that we talk about here on this end. So I brought in a lot of people that I trust, and even if I don't fully agree with everything they say, I like to hear their process and value their opinion. So those are the people that will be speaking on these panels at the event. So training camp is going to be really, really beneficial. It's going to come with a free, like, high-level draft guide, nothing like the one I'm going to be having for Jahan Fantasy Community, but it'll have a high-level draft guide, entry into $1,000 Survivor League, courtesy of Bet Openly. And then it'll have, there's going to be like a bunch of freebies and like bonus bets. And then also we have, we gave away already some spots to Scott Fish Bowl, Scott Fish Bowl 15. And then we will also be doing some guillotine leagues with Fantasy Life potentially. And then Dante Culpepper's giving away a signed either jersey or football. We haven't confirmed everything, but Dante Culpepper's giving away. And we might have some like I said, high profile guest appearances there. Just leave it at that. So a lot will be fun, man. It's not gonna just be like a normal live, and it won't just be me there. We got some good people that are gonna be there. So signed up and got the Google Teams meet as an invite. No, you should have got a ticket. Drop a comment on this video, Tony, just so I can get back to you on that. But thank you for letting me know that. You should have got an actual like Eventbrite ticket. Would you rather have Bijan, J-Mo, Genty, and Brian Thomas? Tyler, I'm going to throw this one to you, man. Bijan and J-Mo or Genty and Brian Thomas?
Genty, Brian Thomas.
Redraft or Dynasty or both?
Definitely Dynasty. For redraft, I mean, it's close-ish. I don't even want to say. I just don't like J-Mo as much as those other two guys. Like, that's the big thing. I do think Bijan, he's my RB1, but Genty could be a really good, and we talked about it. Brian Thomas could be wide receiver one. I mean, who the hell knows? Like, I think that's in his range of outcomes. So I'd rather have that side. It's close-ish just because I like Bijan a lot, but I like those other two guys a lot more than J-Mo.
I would probably take the Genty and Brian Thomas side. Just because the Brian Thomas upside, like you talked about, is wide receiver one. I think Genty's upside is top 5. I don't know if he finishes there, but that's his upside. Whereas I think
what's
J-Mo's
the true upside for J-Mo?
Yeah, J-Mo's upside is like, I need Amon-Ra St. Brown to get hurt to be a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think. Whereas Bijan, I think Bijan could be the running back one, but like,
yeah,
I think you have more top 5 potential out of both players with Genty and Robinson. And that's what you have to evaluate, right? Like, what's the potential and the floor? And the floor for Brian Thomas is like 1,108. The floor for J-Mo is probably like 1,100 or like 1,005, I would say, right? The floor for Genty is probably like top 15 running back. The floor for Bijan is probably top 10 running back if we're just talking like pure floor. But you get way more ceiling on the other side.
It's like top 5. I would say Genty is top 10. I would say floor for Bijan is top 5.
You think Genty's floor is top 10?
Yeah.
No, there's no way.
100%.
There's no way. What if he's not good, bro?
Oh,
you haven't seen him on the field. You haven't seen him take a
snap. You
can't say his floor is top 10.
Stat.
He's never take a snap.
100% hit rate. Like, even Trent Richardson was top 10. Trent Richardson was RB7. And he was ass. And he was ass. And he still was top 7. Like, he's going to get fed the rock.
I'm talking about just pure floor. I'm talking about pure floor because there's also way better running backs PPR wise. There's way better running backs than there probably was back in the day as far as like versus rookies. There's a lot of talent in PPR leagues that they don't need to just be pure running backs. They can be pass catchers too. Yeah, and is that stat? You sure that stat's PPR and it's not like standard? Or it's not
Well,
half
I
of
should
the
say
PPR?
top 12. He'll be top 12. He'll be an RB1. The floor is an RB1.
Floor is RB1.
Yeah. That
You
is
seen some crazy shit
that is
sometimes,
for
Tyler.
full point PPR.
Oh, this is ugly. I don't want to keep taking Rashad Bateman, bro. I'm taking Rashid.
Yeah, this is only 12. I still need to take a tight end. Damn it.
That's right. You'll get a good tight end here.
Looks
These
like
guys won't take a tight end. They already got theirs.
Yeah, but none of them I like. I used to like Pat Fryermuth, but now obviously that's dead. So I kind of got to get a new one.
Let's see. Who are some tight ends you like down here? You don't like? So is Kincaid gone? Like I like Kincaid a lot. I think Kincaid, Pitts.
The problem is,
I know you don't like Pitts, but like Kincaid, I feel like Kincaid can bounce way the fuck back.
He could, but like I honestly, one guy I don't even really like him. No, I'm not going to take him. Sure, I'll go with Kincaid.
I figure you go. See, Kincaid really does have like top 10 upside to me down here.
Yeah, like
if things go right.
He was so disappointing last year.
But that's the thing with tight ends. It's like they look so disappointing for so long, and then for 1 year it just clicks. And it's like with this offense, they kind of need him.
You remember Kincaid was like going in the top 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Crazy, bro.
So much more palatable. So sure, why not?
Yeah.
Same with Pitts, though. He was going that high.
Yeah. So Jahan got to do a collab with the Fantasy Hustler. I have no clue who that is. Tag me in a video. Tag me in a video with the Fantasy Hustler.
I don't know who that is either.
Is he good? I've never seen him. You said you don't know who he is?
No, I don't know who that is.
The Fantasy Hustler. Who is that? Yeah, somebody tag me in a video with him. Fantasy Hustler. If he's good. If he's not good, don't tag me in it. This is redraft I chose. Okay, you're talking about in this draft. I'm glad you got the ticket. Okay, good. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to get a Google Meet or not, but you're supposed to get a ticket. So they said you got some wild takes, Tyler.
Some good takes, yeah.
Tyler, you got some gems in there sometimes, bro. I think regular season, man, is good because we can have these takes, but I like how we're able to bounce information back and forth during the regular season, bro. So it's gonna be some good shit, man. But other than that, guys, this is going to do it for the Mock Draft Monday today. Hopefully, y'all like the teams. We're not rating the teams. Tyler, Gabe said message him back, too, while you're here.
Who was Gabe?
So, Gabe, the jersey. Gabe with the jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Toker.
TikTok. All right.
Toker. We rating teams or not? No team ratings today, man. But we'll be doing a lot more mock drafts. Next Monday will be the auction draft. Anything before we get off, Tyler? You got anything? You got anything on the top of your mind, man?
Whoever said, I mean, you even said that too. I'll do a bet that Ladd McConkey finishes higher than AJ Brown this year in fantasy.
What we do is we gonna run that back. Whatever we put on, what do we put on the last one? How much you want to put on it? We can do that, a little friendly bet.
Yeah, we'll do a friendly bet.
All right, I gotta put that on. I gotta put that on here too, bro.
Well, we'll figure.
We did for 100 last time for Tootin. How about this? How about let's do like
what was the Tootin one? I don't remember.
For rushing yards.
Wait, the 700?
we were on stream, bro.
No, that was.
Let's do this. Let's do like $10 bets. That way we could just keep a running tab.
All right, but I want to. That one was
It was 400 yards, 400 rushing yards. It was like 400.
I thought it was a 700.
No, it was like 400 yards rushing.
Oh,
I don't have the exact number. I just have rushing.
Okay,
yards.
I'll do the 10. I'll do 10 for that. Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember it was like 400 yards. So I don't remember the exact.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that one.
All right, so we'll just do like $10 bets and we'll keep it low key. And then, so what was another one? AJ Brown, or we can make it, or we could do like community first Ladd McConkey.
But that's also, we'll say like they have to play a minimum of like 14
games, 12 game minimum.
But then
14 game minimum.
Sure. Well, I would say 14 just because like it is going to be close, but.
All right, so
we have one guy missing like 4 games, 5 games. That's a lot of games to be missing.
We'll do 14 game minimum. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So $10 there. It's a $10 bet, bro.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're doing PPR. We're doing PPR fantasy points, right?
Yeah, we'll do PPR.
PPR fantasy points. AJ versus Ladd. We locked in. So I'm gonna call these the Tyler bets. And we'll just keep it running a little tab. This is gonna be bad. We're gonna have like 1,000 bets by the time we're done with this shit, bro.
Well, I feel really good about that one. That one's near 100% hit.
AJ Brown is gonna be better than Lad McConkey.
No, he's
AJ
not.
Brown's worst season would be like Lad's best season.
Sadly, he's not. It's all right. Well, I don't have to do any talking. We'll let the year do the talking.
I'm gonna be by the time I might have a new car by the time we're done with all these bets, bro. Listen, I want to say one more thing too. Make sure y'all get your tickets for Fantasy Football Training Camp, fftcamp.com. Get your free ticket. We're gonna be in the building, man. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be back on later this week. See y'all next time. Peace out.